Hi there, welcome to my channel where we discuss together all topics in relation to universal laws, their application, and in particular the number one universal law, which is practicing love, which in my world, the Holy Trinity of love is all about thinking love, speaking love, and doing love. Now, the video series today has come out as a result of a very shocking event that I woke up to this morning here in Auckland, New Zealand, that I'm sure has already spread all around the news, which is the shooting that happened right in the CBD of Auckland Central at a place that is very, very public. Lots of people go there in and out all the time. It was a peak time, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. Lots of people coming to work, just going on around their normal routines. It's a very, very busy place. And we have found out this morning that 3 people have been confirmed to have been killed or dead, and at least 6 are injured, including police officers. This is very shocking news, and in fact, I wasn't too sure about whether even to make this video or how to go about doing it. As you can see in front of me here, I already have picked just a couple of cards from my intuition deck with the question that I had in mind. Do I even need to make this video? Given how I'm feeling right now, the sense of shock that I'm currently sensing, my mind and all of my thoughts are racing towards that event and the news that I have had on for at least 2-3 hours on TV, just listening to the latest updates, what's going on. Now, the incident event is only about 4 kilometers out from where I live, so you can understand why I'm so deeply impacted by this incident. My previous workplace is within 1 kilometer from that incident. It's a place where I have only been there a couple of weeks ago myself. I was shopping in the commercial bay where the incident took place, or around that place. It's very, very close to home, essentially, effectively, in my life. Now, so this video is going to be very raw and real. The cards that came up from the intuition deck are this deep knowledge card that was right at the top. And I'll just read you a message from it, which is kind of what pushed me towards making this video, even though, as you can probably hear in my voice, I'm a little bit not quite with it today. That's probably the way to describe it. So the deep knowledge says, our thoughts can poison us, especially when we allow them space and leave them unchecked. However, thoughts aren't facts. There is knowledge much deeper that doesn't cause us stress and anxiety, that doesn't prevent us from trying new things or getting creative. Draw on the knowledge you hold within from all those who stood before you. It dwells deep down and has our best interest at heart. It doesn't speak, it moves. It won't clutter your mind. When you start to connect to that wisdom, you will understand that to live life fully is to express ourselves creatively. Pursue inner peace by letting go of the judgment of others and expand the light we discover within onto others. You will also learn to let go of expectations around how things should be, as these only draw you further away from the wisdom you hold. And having drawn that card from the deck, even though it is a heavy decision to kind of film yourself when you're so feeling vulnerable and feeling like your mind is racing, my heart is beating hard, I feel like I have to stop a couple of times this morning to actually have a deep breath, take that breathe in order to get oxygen flow through your body, in order to calm down the hormones that are running through me right now, no doubt adrenaline as well, just because of how shocking the event has been. But the deep knowledge that I think I possess, or I enjoy talking about anyway, and I'm sure each one of us possesses this knowledge, and it's coming back to what this whole channel is all about, right? It's discussing universal laws and the number one universal law, which is the power of love, right? And the more you practice love, and I truly believe, the more you will receive love back in your life. And so, even though it's a very hard time and very challenging time to think, about love when your whole self is probably plunged in a very negative space, a low frequency space, literally news of death and injury, so much pain. It's when I force myself to think about, well, what can I do right now in this particular moment to help myself in this particular situation? Well, I'm drawn to put my hand on my heart. And by my heart it's the bridge between my spirit and my physical body. And it's all loving. And it's all knowing. And in fact, every single one of us individuals has this power. The power of love is within us. And it's your choice that you can exercise to dive into that power of love and to think love, speak love, do love, even in the most challenging of circumstances. And that's what I've decided to do and choose to do on camera, to make sure that we can all perhaps take something away from today's event, to sort of highlight a practical example that even when times are really difficult and extremely shocking like this event, we can still choose love and to practice love together. I'm not going to go over the facts of the incident, especially that they're still unfolding. The Prime Minister was on the news about an hour ago, and even he's got limited information that he could share with the world. So I'm not going to go into the facts of it. But part one in my video series is all about talking, the facts and the universal laws that are applied. And it's very, very challenging to actually come up with something right now on the spot. But the image that I'm getting, the visualization that I'm getting, and I will speak about it, and it's this, the ripple effect. So the vision I'm seeing is when you throw something in the water, right? You see the center part, and then the waves sort of move away from that focal point, and that's what is effectively the ripple effect, right? And the waves spreading out and moving in quite a speedy manner, right? And no doubt this incident here was just the one individual as far as we're aware, causing such a huge, devastating impact on the people who were closest to him at that relevant time, and within a matter of hours, all throughout our country, New Zealand, our beautiful country, and then spreading overseas. A huge ripple effect, having a huge, significant, emotional response on so many people around the world. And I'm an individual that doesn't have a direct link, for instance, to that individual or the families that are involved, but I'm impacted by it, and I'm sure so many others are as well. Feeling bound. So the other card that came up was feeling bound. And the message here says, are you being controlled by your own emotions of fear, overwhelm, or worry? Are you feeling restricted, trapped, or unable to do what you wish? Yes, I do. And this is an interesting thing about, a shocking event, such unexpected, negative news out of the blue. Yes, that's how it makes us humans feel. But I suspect, I'm drawn to say, well, those emotions or feelings are valid. Viktoriya, what you're feeling is normal and valid, and so many others are going through it. But the choice is up to me. What am I going to do about it? What will I choose to do to even help myself, my own family, right at this particular moment during the course of today and the next few days as we move on from this incident? So I'm gonna pause for a second for the part one, and I will see you shortly in part two, where it's all about application and the practical tips of practicing love for a particular context. Channel. We're jumping into this special video series today, which have arisen out of a very shocking, unprecedented event here in New Zealand this morning. And part two is all about application of the practical tips of applying universal laws to our life to make to take the benefit of some of the universal laws that are at play, and in particular the practicing love law that I am a big advocate for. Now, as I mentioned in part 1 and in my other video series, the holy trinity of love in my world is thinking love, speaking love, and doing love. And so despite the horrendous situation that we find ourselves in this morning and today, my choice and my freedom of choice is to actually exercise and practice, exercise my free choice to practice love. And so if we think of love at this point in time, I would like to show appreciation and gratitude and say a massive thanks in my mind, visualizing all the individuals, the police force, all these courageous and brave men and women who have perhaps literally gone out of their way and put themselves in harm's way during the particular incident, right as it was unfolding first thing in this morning. The news report has come out saying that a police officer has actually come out with lots of blood on his body, and eyewitnesses have confirmed that. Thank you. Whoever you might be, thank you for what you did. To that individual and all the individuals that serve in the police force, all the individuals who were out there helping and assisting during the event. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that I was talking about the thinking love aspect. And we can all think that in our minds, right? To send that love, send that gratitude and appreciation to those individuals. Yet at the same time, because I'm filming this, obviously I'm speaking it out loud. And if you're compelled, if you're drawn to say those words out loud as well, please do so. It has tremendous power for us to be able to actually, each one of us, to exercise the universal law of a ripple effect and realize that one individual practicing love through thinking it, speaking it, or doing love can actually create a ripple effect for the masses, right? For the mass, for the collective. And I encourage you to please, follow suit if you're able to, just think a little bit of gratitude and appreciation for those individuals who were there helping. Pray. If you're drawn to pray, please pray. A prayer in my world is an act of love in itself. So please pray. I prayed before I filmed this video, and I'm sure I'll be doing a lot more prayer during the course of today and over the next few days. And on the subject of prayer, another collective we should be thinking about, a group of individuals, are exactly the family members, loved ones, friends, colleagues, who are directly impacted by this event and incident, right? We know that there are 3 people who are dead. And there are 6 people who have already been injured. There will be loved ones, in shock, waiting in anticipation. They might be having really bad, sensations and feelings, even if they don't have the awareness of the actual knowledge of the news that their loved one may have already passed into spirit form. Think about those individuals and send them love. So what I'm visualizing is literally love coming through my heart to those individuals. I don't know what they look like, but I just know that they're out there. And I think that's sufficient to know that I'm sending love from my heart to those spirits, to those souls out there who are going through a very hard and challenging moments, literally as I'm filming this right now. I'm sending you love, my friends. You will pull through this. Time will heal. And we're with you as a collective. We've got your back. And likewise, I know this may sound a bit strange to hear, but we also have to think about the family of the person who did the shooting, right? They are impacted by this incident themselves. It's an assumption, of course, that every single person that was affected has a family and friends. I don't know, I certainly don't know, but I think it's a safe assumption to make. And to know that there are people out there who are directly impacted right now and who are going through, grief, or about to go through grief once they find out the news. Think about those individuals. How shocking it must feel. The whole world might feel like it completely turned upside down right now. So as a collective, perhaps what we can do is practice love by praying for those individuals, address whoever it is that you believe in, or just even, think about those individuals. Just visualize them to the best of your ability. Trust in whatever messages come your way, whatever visualizations come your way, and to know that what you're doing is right by sending them love and the strength to overcome the grief, to overcome the sorrow. Now, in terms of doing love, right, and I might just get some more spirit cards as we move on through this moment together. Check in on one another, right? So the ripple effect is tremendous from this event, right? As I mentioned, I'm just a person who happens to live very close to where the incident took place, and I'm impacted by it. Some of the thoughts I had this morning was about, do I even take my toddler to daycare this morning, follow our standard routine or not? Is it safe to do so? My family member works in the central Auckland region, and all the advice from the regulatory authorities was to stay away from Auckland Central. Don't come into work if you can. There were so many disruptions. The buses naturally that were disrupted, the ferry, so the public transport system was down for obvious reasons. They've taken all the right precautions and actually thinking about them, sending them love as well for having taken the emergency steps that they had to, right? So many individuals have had to react so quickly in the circumstances. It would have been a challenging moment, and no doubt they're still going through thinking about what happened. Sending you all love. God bless you all. God bless you all. And so back to what I was saying about, I'm an individual who's impacted by this, and so many others are as well. You'll be drastically probably seeking out the latest news updates, checking local newspapers and national newspapers. The news will be spreading all around the world. There might be individuals out overseas who are desperately trying to search, through the news, checking in on their loved ones and family members, friends. So such a huge impact. All right, let's see if the spirit has any messages to send through in terms of what we can do. Thinking love, speaking love, doing love. So the card that came out is number 2, attachment, longing and desperation. And effectively it's a lady that is inside a very complicated, beautiful, sparkly spider web. And honestly, the first thing that comes to it is I feel like this individual right now, and perhaps those who are part of the ripple effect, who are feeling and sensing the impact of this incident that occurred this morning, are also feeling trapped, like you don't know what to do right now. It's like this one incident, and that's all you can think about. It's all you're feeling. Even if you find yourself a distraction, say you're at work, or you're trying to progress with your work, whatever that might be, or you're trying to call somebody, a family friend or relatives to try and chat about it, talk through your feelings. You can't stop but being naturally drawn. You feel entangled to be thinking about the event, speaking about it. That's what I'm doing right now on camera. Just feel like I need to get things out as part of my own personal kind of healing process after having experienced, the shock of this morning. It's not like New Zealand. Sorry, something I might mention actually, and I think it's very important of trying to show love towards New Zealand and actually visualize, heart emojis or heart symbols, love, whatever it is you're resonating with. Just send love to New Zealand on the map and all the individuals right now, because we are affected. We are a community that is literally impacted by this particular incident. So please do send us love. And also just recall that this is not like New Zealand. These incidents do not pretty much never happen in New Zealand. This is just abnormal, very, very rare, that's for sure. And so for you out there who are thinking of traveling to New Zealand, visiting New Zealand, please do so. Please continue with your plans. This is, we heard on the news this morning from the Prime Minister, this is an isolated event. It is not treated as a national security measure at all. Please continue doing what you're doing. And tonight, actually, we've got the kickoff of the FIFA World Cup for women, which is a fantastic occasion. We're celebrating our women, our females in sports. And it was very heartwarming to hear this morning that the proceedings will go ahead as planned. It's very important to make sure that great things still happen, despite such shocking news in the morning. But going back to, the point of New Zealand, whoever's out there listening, if you are thinking of traveling to New Zealand, please carry on with your plans. The country is beautiful. There's so much to see. The people are lovely. I'm sure you will be pleased to travel to New Zealand and visit all the beautiful sites that we have to see here, whether it's on the North Island or the South Island or wherever you might be heading. Please still do come here. Now, the attachment, right, what else? I might just grab the Energy and Spirit Oracle Guidebook because, as I mentioned, I'm feeling this bound sensation when you've got this, the workings of the fear emotion, perhaps anxiety, or where it comes through, that it's even personally very hard to come up with things on the fly, just because you feel a little bit paralyzed, quite frankly, as if there's only one thing that you can do. And perhaps this is, another message from this attachment card, when you feel stuck, you literally can't move, and even if you move, you're still not progressing. In fact, you might actually be making your situation a little bit worse off. So I might just grab the meaning from this card. So attachment, the woman on this card is caught in a web of longing and need. The threads that bind her and her desperate needs for love, money, or success. Her obsessive longing is keeping her stuck, unable to move in any desired direction. And in fact, as she reaches up to grab a diamond in the web, she gets even more caught up. This card brings a warning. Don't poison your present joy with the misery of desperation. There's not just one thing that can make you happy. Surrender your chronic longing and choose to create feelings of happiness and self-acceptance now. This release of attachment allows you to calmly work on your intentions while living in appreciation of the present. Perceive the value already in your life, and you'll attract increasingly happy experiences, including the ones you long for now. And the affirmation is, I let go of desperation. I take action toward my goals while focusing on my present joys and blessings. And I think having read that, it just shows you the power of actual mindfulness, right? Being in the present moment and finding some gratitude for what it is that you have right now, the joys and the blessings that you currently have. And that includes things like, I'm thankful for the fact that I've still got my family, I've got my friends, my loved ones are okay, everyone is safe, the ones I've checked in okay, I know that they're okay. And that's instantly literally putting me in a wave of calm. Like I can literally feel it as I'm saying it about my own beautiful family. Yeah, so remembering, the release of attachments allows you to calmly work on your intentions while living in appreciation of the present, so the release of the attachment. So even though you will find yourself perhaps struggling with finding the release from the news, from this incident, one way to do that is to actually go within, perhaps, to try and figure out what is it that you currently have. Are your loved ones okay? Are you safe? Are you in an environment that is safe? And just count your blessings at this present moment. And hopefully that will get you through past the emotions that you might be naturally drawn into, of desperation, of longing, of this paralysis that you might be experiencing. Interesting. Yeah, thank you for that message, Spirit. Thinking, speaking, doing love. I'm thinking of all the people who were also at the place of the incident at that time, in your surrounding areas. I don't mean specifically the individuals who were closest to the gunman, but the ones who were, even 1 to 2 kilometers. Just sending you love, because the area got cordoned off immediately, immediate lockdown with lots of police carrying guns. That would have really spooked you. And, worries, sensations of, helplessness, wanting to know what happened, what's wrong. Am I currently in danger? What about, my friends or colleagues, what are they up to? They would have had a rough morning. Everything would have been disrupted. Everything would have been disrupted. Just sending them waves of an energy of calm and strength, and hopefully, by the end of today, they'll feel the release, or at least the release will start kicking in by the end of today, or hopefully as soon as possible, right? Well, on that note, I might just pause for a second just to collect myself, really, and before we jump into part 3, which is any other concluding words, departing thoughts, wrap up, next steps, what we can all do as a community in terms of practicing love, given that we have found ourselves in the situation. I'll see you shortly. Hi there. Welcome to part 3 of the special video series on the shocking news that unfolded this morning in New Zealand about a shooting. And as I mentioned in the first part, this is a video that I was drawn to make as a result of an answer to a question that I posed, whether I should even be thinking of making any kind of videos today, just given the state of how I'm feeling and what I'm sensing. And the cards came up pretty much saying, yes, share the deep knowledge. And the deep knowledge which we discuss on this channel is all about the universal laws and practicing love in particular, through thinking love, speaking love, and doing love. And I'll be just shuffling a few more tarot cards just to see if any more messages come through on this subject, in terms of what is it that we can do as each individual, as a collective, in order to practice love to one another during such difficult timing, right? And something is that popped through during the little pause that I took between parts 2 and 3, and it's all to do with information, right? So when a huge incident happens, you are sent into this sensations of shock, right? Your mind is racing for information. You want to know the ins and outs of everything. You're very curious. You're eager to know, because it feels like the more information you know, then you see all the puzzle pieces together, and they come together, and it feels like there's a completeness, a sensation of like, I see the full picture. I know, and as a result, because of my knowledge, I feel better, because it's the lack of information that may throw you into feelings of confusion and uncertainty, and as a result, negative vibrations. And so when we think about information, we can think love, or we can pray for, or speak out loud, thanking individuals out there who bring us their most relevant and up-to-date information about incidents like the one that has occurred this morning. We were on the news first thing, having literally live updates from the most reliable sources in terms of what has occurred, what's the latest on the news. And we don't think about this, but you know, there are some reporters and journalists out there who, you know, right at the site of the incident, right, trying to gather that information. So let's just thank them for a moment, because through their information we get to fill in the puzzle pieces, right? So if it wasn't for that work, we would be, our sensations of uncertainty and confusion probably would be prolonged, and that would prevent us from kicking off a healing process, you know, to try and make us feel better. So let's just think a little bit and thank the people who bring us the most up-to-date information in order to understand what actually has occurred, what's happened. So let's see if we've got any messages from the spirit as to the departing thoughts. You know, I'm a big proponent on this channel about thinking love, speaking love, and doing love. Part 2 was very much a raw and real, you know, description of what can be done, as well as, you know, some messages from the spirits, angels, and archangels out there. Just because of the fact that, you know, I'm feeling a bit paralyzed myself. You know, my mind isn't probably as clear as it normally is, and so I'll just get a few messages here from the top. So what we've got, a couple of cards, 3 cards, for any departing thoughts, messages on this topic, you know, how we can as a collective practice more love in the circumstances to help ourselves, help our loved ones, help our community, and help the collective at large. Alright, so the first card that came out is 21, and the incident happened on the 20th of July, today's 20th, but you know, tomorrow is 21st of July. The world, you know, maybe this is just trying to show that the news, you know, the ripple effect of the universal law I discussed in part 1, it will be all over the news, like literally the whole world will find out about the news one way or another. So that's one message that comes through. But in terms of the date itself, but if we look at the actual image, you know, the rainbow around, you know, there's a couple of circles here which I think is trying to show, you know, the complexity and the beauty of the world, you know, or the planet in particular. So one thing we can all do is to actually send love and any kind of symbols of love that force. Imagine it whatever color you want, you know, be that the beautiful white or golden light. Think about it as a planet, you know, you can literally visualize a planet in front of you and being showered in beautiful white or golden light. You can even zoom in, you know, imagine you're zooming in on a planet and think about the country New Zealand or the city Auckland, and sending that beautiful, beautiful light of a white color or golden light, or heart emojis or any other love symbols that come to you, you know, just sending it your way if you're intentionally sending it that way. You know, the more people, the more individuals around the world then can do that at one time, or more or less around the same time, and think, you know, 24 hours, 48 hours, it's a short period of space and time, right? The more people that can do that, thinking loving thoughts, speaking loving thoughts, sending literally the love energy from our heart at one time, the cumulative effect of it is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Lots more love will be multiplied and created as a result of that one process. And, you know, each individual, you might feel like you're alone, but think about the magnitude of all people, or as many people around the world as possible, nearly, you know, 8 billion souls on this planet, thinking about love at one point in time. That's powerful. That's extremely powerful. What we've also got here is the card number 6 of Wands, and it's this the process of metamorphosis, whereby the butterfly is about to fly, you know, and the butterfly are also symbols of spirits. So let's send some love to the spirits. Yeah, we know that as of this morning 3 people are dead. Let's send love to the spirits, okay, who have lost, the individuals who have lost their lives this morning. Let's send them as much love as we can. We have to show respect for the dead. I feel like that's kind of like our duty on this planet as well, is to acknowledge that a life has ended. You know, somebody's time here in this particular lifetime has ended, and there's an energy transformation that took place, you know, completion of life, and now they have transformed into a different energy in the spirit world. You know, let's think a little bit about them and send them as much love as we can, given how unexpected and abrupt, you know, that event has taken place in their life, going from, you know, living to the dead state. And the last card we've got here is Ten of Wands. Very, very dark, very, very mixed, you know. I'm seeing interconnections between the wands, you know. So the first thing that comes up is the unity in the darkness, right? So even though this period of time may seem very, very dark and negative and low frequency, the truth is we're all connected. We're all a collective of one web of connections. We're all literally interconnected. And if we can understand that and become aware of it, perhaps we can actually unite together. And as I mentioned right at the start with the world, actually exercise the freedom of choice to practice love during the darkness. And who knows, maybe this might happen, right? We go from the darkness, as you can see these ones right at the bottom, and as a result of that darkness we have a beautiful butterfly that springs open and flies up. And if we can practice love together, think love, speak love, do love, perhaps we can all become as a collective that beautiful butterfly, you know, acknowledging and realizing that we are united, we're one, we're connected, we're all spirit, you know, effectively we're all spirits having a human experience in these physical bodies. Let's show love to one another. Is there anything else that comes to mind? Just looking at all these cards as a whole. Yeah, I'm still drawn to this first card that popped up. Just when I made the decision, or I asked, you know, the universe the question, should I even be making this video? And it's this deep knowledge with a beautiful owl on it, which is a sign of wisdom. Also, owls, you know, are awake during nighttime, which is usually the darkness, and they are asleep during the day. So once again, you know, these images of darkness, negativity, because, you know, that's what we are, you know, the ripple effect is causing us to feel, perhaps, you know, during such shocking news. And even though things might be dark and gloomy and not good, the bottom line is not well, let's activate the owl within each and single one of us, which is that wisdom to know that we have a heart. Each one of us has a heart. It's the bridge between our soul, spirit, and our physical bodies. That's where love resides, power of love. And perhaps, as I mentioned before, let's exercise our free choice during such gloomy, difficult times to unite together in the darkness and to practice love. Do whatever it is that resonates with you. My suggestions, my practical tips are not the only ways forward, right? There's so much that we can all do as humanity, right? So long as we demonstrate love in one shape or form, whatever that might be from, you know, from your perspective. Thinking love, speaking love, doing love. Please do feel free to comment down below. You know, send words of encouragement and support to the loved ones and the family members and the community at large that's impacted by this particular incident. That might be you doing love, demonstrating love at this point in time. Do whatever else that comes to your mind. Meditate a little bit on that subject. You know, be compelled, be drawn, trust in the universe. Trust for the universe to show you the right physical sign, or to send you, you know, a thought in your mind or a feeling inside of you as to what it is that you can do to demonstrate, to practice love, given this situation and what has unfolded this morning. Yes, I'm going to end on that note. Stay strong. New Zealand, I think that would be my departing message. Stay strong. Kia kaha. We will get through this. The more love we can practice, show it to yourself and show it to others, the more likely we are to come out from negativity, from this incident, in a more peaceful manner, perhaps in a more loving manner. This will unite us once again, and together perhaps as a community, if we realize and acknowledge and we become aware that we're all connected and we're all in this together, perhaps in that unity together and through the practice of love, we can actually come out with this, the sooner the better. And take care of one another, check in on one another, send a message, are you okay? How are you feeling? Do you want to talk about it? Whatever it is that you might feel like doing, whatever you're drawn doing, just do it. So long as you know it comes from your heart. Say whatever comes from your heart, do whatever comes from your heart, and you won't go wrong. That's for sure. On that note, everybody, thank you very much for watching until the end. I really appreciate your support, and all the very best. I will see you in my next video series. Bye for now.